This is probably the best episode so far. What if the Earth lost its mightiest heroes? So they recount all the various events from the Phase 1 movies, Iron Man 2, the first Thor, Incredible Hulk, showing a lot of the big players getting killed by an unknown assassin. A lot of familiar voices returning: Sam Jackson, Tom Hiddleston, Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner. Someone kills all the big players, and it seems that all the clues are pointing towards Natasha Romanoff, who manages to escape S.H.I.E.L.D. custody, going to somebody like Betty Ross, who is hiding Bruce Banner in her lab, and then we get like a recreation of that big campus ground fight where Bruce gets shot on the balcony but then turns into the Hulk, and as he's fighting off these tanks and these military guys, he starts to inflate like a balloon and blows up, even though they say earlier in the episode he can't die. The whole time I'm watching this episode, I literally was going through my head, oh my god, can you imagine if they actually did that in Phase 1? The fans would have lost their freaking minds. Similar to Nick Fury's reaction, trying to figure out who is doing this. Is it somebody inside S.H.I.E.L.D. like Alexander Pierce? Could it be the Winter Soldier? Then Nat sneaks into this one archive room trying to look up information on each Avenger, on what do they have in common. She's able to deduce that someone who died 2 years prior was able to access certain S.H.I.E.L.D. information. And then you hear a sound, and nobody was there. And then Nat calls Nick Fury and said, it's all about hope, it's all about hope. And while all this was happening, I thought, wait a second, what? It's Hank Pym! And we get a scraggly old looking Hank Pym, voiced by Michael Douglas himself, who's looking for revenge for the death of his daughter, Hope, who was killed in the line of duty as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in this timeline. Nick Fury's the only Avenger left, and Loki has showed up with the Asgardian army to get revenge for his brother's death. Gives him until sunset to bring his brother's killer. After some discussion with Coulson, bring in the beeper that he used for Captain Marvel in Infinity War, and then we get the scene in the graveyard where Hank Pym shows up and confronts Fury. My daughter's dead because of you! You brainwashed her! Your daughter knew the risks, Hank. Then another Nick Fury shows up, and another, and I thought, Loki. It's Loki. But I liked how they revealed how Hank Pym was able to do all these things. When Nat puts the injection into Tony's neck that's supposed to cure him, if I remember correctly, Hank snuck into that test tube and put some kind of poison in there, and with Bruce Banner getting shot in the arm, Hank Pym went into his shoulder and put some kind of toxin into there, causing him to blow up. And then when Hawkeye had his arrow on Thor, he was holding his arrow, but then Hank Pym comes in and gets him to release the arrow right into Thor. Just like the other MCU films where they're able to embrace any kind of genre. This, I thought, was a really exciting and intriguing mystery thriller. And even though it's not exactly canon in the MCU, it is in a way since it's the multiverse, still, just the thought of them killing off all these people in Phase 1, people would have gone nuts. And that's putting it lightly. And the motivation that Hank Pym has for killing the Avengers, it's completely understandable as to why he's doing it. Even though we as the audience don't condone what he's doing. Just like a lot of other great villains portrayed in fiction, the villain's perspective is completely relatable. So Hank is brought before Loki, who offers Nick Fury an alliance, but in actuality he takes over the Earth at the United Nations. Nick Fury realizes that, okay, we are knee-deep in trouble, we need some help. And then he discovers the Hydra jet with Captain America's shield under the ice. Steve Rogers is buried in the ice. Not only is he talking to Captain America, Captain Marvel shows up right behind him. And that's all she wrote. So far, the best episode. It just got better and better with the last 3. Hopefully they don't lose their momentum in the rest of the season. I love how they just flip the script in these situations. Even though it's not exactly canon, it does make you wonder, well, what if it did go this way in the movies? If there is an alternate dimension out there in the real world, which there possibly could be, I am curious to go to those timelines and see how the movies could have gone a certain way. And the way they set up the mystery of this assassin, I like how they don't make it so obvious that it's somebody with the ability to shrink down to the size of an ant. You're so in the moment that you don't really know what's happening, and even the other people like General Ross or Hawkeye, they have no idea what's happening. And even Nat didn't know either. And us as the viewer, we're able to see, wait a minute, what's happening here? But they do trust the audience to follow along in order for you to finally get to the actual reveal, and you're able to see upon retrospect what was all happening right before our eyes. I like it when a show or a movie does that. It doesn't spoon feed you all the information right away, but gives you just enough, leaving you wanting more, and then when it finally gets to the end, it's all worth it. Which is exactly how a mystery should be done in fiction. Those are my general thoughts on episode 3. Comment below and tell me what your thoughts are, and I'll see you guys in the next video.